And it was hard, and I struggled. And at one point, we weren't there long, and I said, we need to leave. Can we go back? I'm sorry to cut this short, but can we go back to the room or the cottage on the lake? And we did. And I looked at Gary, and I said, I'm ready. I'm ready because I can't do this. And he had some cannabis. I'm a cigarette smoker, so I'm thinking, well, if I can smoke cigarette, I can smoke cannabis, right? My experience with cannabis had been maybe 2 times when I was a 16-year-old kid, and I don't know, it was probably ragweed, something somebody was growing in their backyard. I don't even know what it was. It felt a little fuzzy, whatever. And, I took one, smoked it, and I took a hit of it like a cigarette.
And you hit the clock.
Well, I did. I had my phone. I said I really wanted to kind of see how this would affect me. I hit the timer on my phone, and I took a hit like a cigarette, and Gary was like, whoa, give that back. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's what you see people on TV. That's how they do it. They take a big hit. They make rings and stuff and do all this cool thing. And I just took a big hit, and he's like, give that back. Okay, let's just take a minute. And, Gary approached it with such love. And he really did not want my first experience to be too intense for me. Because obviously I'm going to be very sensitive to it. I've never used it. And he wanted to make sure that it was just a easy, gradual experience. And I looked at my phone at 4 minutes. I sat up and I practice yoga, mindful meditation. I understand how to do a body scan, and I did a scan. And I said, Gary, for the first time since I can't tell you, I cannot find any pain in my body at all. At all. This is a man that's been paying out of pocket to get needles in his neck once or twice a week to try to get me to a 4. And I said, I'm pain free. And I smiled. I said, I am pain free. I can't find it anywhere. That was at like 4 minutes. About 6 minutes, I said, ooh. I said, feel like somebody laid one of those weighted blankets on me. Yeah, I feel like cozy. It was at 6 minutes. It was probably 8 or 9 minutes. I said, I need to go to bed now. And he said, go, you do that, Joe, you go. And I said, I'm all set up, Gary. I said, I feel this. And it was on top of the exhaustion.
Yeah.
I was completely exhausted. And I crawled into bed, and I put my CPAP on, and I sleep with a neck brace as well. It keeps my neck immobilized while I sleep. I look like some cyborg or Frankenstein. I got all this stuff going on. And I have to have music or something playing because it helps to distract.
The tinnitus.
My mind, yep, for the tinnitus and the ringing, but also gives my mind something to think about to keep it distracted so it doesn't go into the darkness. And I slept 10.5 hours.
Wow.
I was concerned.
Wow.
Out.
I would go by his bed. I'm like, yeah, he's breathing.
I cannot sleep when it's light out. At first light, even at pre-dawn, I'm awake because I'm programmed to do that. I cannot sleep when it's light out. It's hard for me to nap during the day. 15, 20 minutes, that's it, and I'm up. I can't do it. I don't even know what time I got up. I know it was light out.
Didn't matter.
I was out 10.5 hours. And I said, oh my God, I feel so rested. And then we went and sat by the lake. He said, come here. And I had my coffee. And
next morning,
he had it different. He said, this is something different. This is a day strain. I'm like, well, I didn't even know there was strains. I thought cannabis was cannabis. That's it. And he's like, no, this is different.
Got a strain in my neck.
And I learned, and I learned, okay, we got a little, go easy here, just a little. And he said, now blow it out. He wanted to make sure that he saw some smoke come out. And he goes, good, that was good. And we sat there, and I just felt it wash over me, and I said, this is so pleasant. Because when you flew up to see me I was raw,
Yeah.
bleeding nerves. And I watched you smoke some cannabis, and I'm thinking, well, there goes the visit. So much for a cognizant conversation from here on out.
Yeah.
And he smoked cannabis, and I watched him look at me and have the most sincere, coherent, thoughtful, educated conversation. I was the one that wasn't making any sense. He was completely present, having an intelligent conversation. And when he would go to say something, he would think about it. He was being mindful of his words. It wasn't just blabbing. It was thoughtful, mindful, loving sentences that were meaningful. And I'm like, that's somebody that's high?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be like, hey, you know, throwing his shirt around and picking fake
With
apples
Pete
out of
Pablo.
trees and stuff. Right? I'm like, no. And then he's like, there's different strains and there's different ways to treat for different things. And I learned that there was a night strain that's my thing. That's how cannabis works for me. It's the smallest amount, even still. 1 or 2 puffs, and I'm on a 10-minute window to get my CPAP on,
Yeah.
and my neck brace, and get in bed and put my solfeggio frequencies on and my Zen music, and I'm out.
Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
The little kid, when the mom comes home, I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. That's Joe when he inhaled. I got to go to bed.
But it's part of your routine now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not even, sometimes I sleep so well that the next night, like
Yeah.
I haven't made it habitual.